moment while we are witness to what has happened in Paris, a bigger question than all the love, affection and pursuit inside is the issue of Kshatriya Dharma. Well, Krishna himself, though I know he failed, like all others who came to earth, but nevertheless he even talked about Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya cha Dushkritam. So there is an element of violence which he taught. So what have you to say when the world is confronted with people that are going to be violent? What should we do?
Now, you are forcing me to make certain confessions. I must tell you, I neither read the Gita, nor do I know Sanskrit language. You just tell me in simple language. The problem with me is, I have no scripture in my head. There's only one thing I know. I don't know anything else. I know this piece of life from its origin to its ultimate. What I see is, if I know this piece of life, by inference, you know just about anything in the universe. By inference. Because fundamentally, everything in the universe has the same fundamental design. Today modern science is coming up with a theory called constructional theory. What they are saying is, the design of the atom and the design of the larger cosmos is fundamentally same, only multiplied in sophistication and complexity. An amoeba and you are actually the same fundamental design, but this is much more sophisticated and complicated, but that is a simple version of the same thing. So in that sense, this is all I know. I don't know any scripture, anything, just my knowledge about Krishna is what grandmothers are talking around me, not beyond that. But anyway, Krishna is talking about many things we must understand. These are the times when they are trying to establish law. There is no law. In a lawless land, they are trying to establish law. Why repeatedly they are talking about dharma, dharma between husband and wife, dharma between father and son, dharma between two kings, dharma between king and citizens, like this they are talking, and he is also talking about swadharma or the dharma of the self. Because he is trying to establish the law, where people could do anything by themselves. You must understand why in this Mahabharata people go to extreme levels to keep their word. Even though it causes enormous harm to them and to everybody, I said it, so I have to keep it. This is because at that time, a man's word was most important because there was no penal code as such. I said it, I must keep it, otherwise everything will fall apart. So he's talking about various dharmas for different people at different levels. So when he's talking about the war and politics, he's talking one language. When he's talking about family, he's talking another language. When he's talking about inner nature, he's talking a different language. This is an appropriate way to address things, because all dimensions of life cannot work under one law. Marketplace functions one way, family should function in a different way, friendships function in a different way, what happens within us in a different way. These are governed by different laws. These are not morals. This is not a philosophy. This is a law, trying to understand by what laws different dimensions of life are functioning. Only if you're in tune with those laws, this is what I call as raga, only if you're in tune with the raga, you can find the right rhythm and hit it off. If you do not listen to the raga carefully enough, then you will do the wrong rhythm and then things fall apart. So whether it's our social situation or international situation or our own inner situation or our psychological realities, we need to hit the right pitch. For this we need to listen to life. And the only means that we have to listen to life is this human mechanism. There is no other way for you to listen to life.
You had a question?
You didn't answer your question? That's it?
Yes.
Huh?
I'm still confronted with violence. What do I do?
See, you are not confronted with violence. It is just that people take different types of action. Right now, I can speak gently to you, or I can speak harshly to you, depending upon what's needed, all right? There are people who are very sensitive. If you just look at them, they will understand why they're being looked at. There is somebody else, if you look at them, they'll just straight stare back at you. You'll have to tell them. There is somebody else, if you tell them, they won't get it. You have to tell them loudly. There is somebody else, you have to knock him on his head and tell him. This is why we said Sama, Veda, Danda, all these things, because these are different ways to make things happen, because not everybody is made the same way. So am I justifying violence? Whether I justify it or I don't justify it. The very structure has violent elements in it. Every society has police, isn't it? If they don't have a gun, at least they have a stick. Is it a symbol of violence or no? But controlled violence. Violence controlled by an established system of law. But if you do that, there will be somebody who is made in such a way who doesn't fit into your system of law. He will do his own violence. It's inevitable. It can only be brought down when individual human beings are transformed in a huge way. Otherwise, we can philosophize as much as we want. It's been happening for 10,000 years. Why don't we understand it won't work like that? But the very structure of the society has violence ingrained in it, isn't it so? You have a policeman, legal violence, isn't it? But can you do without a policeman, I'm asking? Can you do without an army today in the world? You cannot. So that is violence. You may call it defense, but it's actually instruments of violence. If it's necessary, we'll use it, isn't it?